Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we're back with New York Times best-selling author Rebecca Zanetti. Hey, Rebecca, welcome back.
Hey there, thanks. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you back. And today I want to talk all about writing dark romantic thrillers. So, Rebecca, dark romance often walks a fine line between emotional intensity and reader discomfort. How do you decide how far to push these boundaries?
I think it's up to what you want to read as a reader. When I first contracted to write the dark romances, I went and I read a bunch of them, and then I went back to my editor and I said, I'm not writing some of that. I can't do it. And they're like, no, 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 we want you to stick with, what you're comfortable with and what your current fan base would want. So then you just, you write what fits within your genre, and it's a lot easier to pull you back than push you forward. So when in doubt, put it in the book and then edit it out was my philosophy.
Smart. Now, what elements must be present in a dark romance for it to still deliver a satisfying emotional payoff?
Well, if it's a romance, you need a happy ending, as far as I'm concerned. So that's the most important element. For me, I like a little push pull, some tension. I love a good kidnapping, but for me, the hero still can't be cruel. I can't do cruel. And I know some people can, and that's fine, but that's one of the elements. I need this attraction through the entire book and almost a sense of working together, even when they're working against each other, that leads to that satisfying conclusion like, okay, yes, that makes sense that these people fell in love.
Right. Now, how do you write morally gray or damaged characters in a way that still makes readers root for them?
I think that you give them a reason to be morally gray or damaged, and you show what that is. And then you also have to show, for me, a kindness in them. Everybody loves somebody or something. So I think you need to show that. And for me, it's usually the romantic partner that they want to protect or help or intrigued by, that reveals character and who they are and why you want to root for them.
Right. Now, when plotting thrillers with romantic elements, how do you handle pacing so that both storylines hit hard without overshadowing each other?
I think that, I usually start with the thriller elements, and how the characters react to those elements reveals character and then romance. And so I think it all flows together and kind of twists around each other as you get to the end of the book, if that makes any sense. But I also wouldn't hold yourself back and worry about, okay, I have to plot this, I have to plot that. Sit down and write it and see where you go.
Now, what role does psychology play in your darker stories, and how do you get into the mindset of more twisted characters?
That's such a fun question. It is so much fun to get into a darker mind. It just really is. And I can't explain why. I have a thriller series called the Laurel Snow Thrillers, and there's a character in there who is a malignant narcissist. And so how she reacts to situations is different than how you or I would. And so it's so much fun exploring how she genuinely would react and think. And so I think you just have to throw yourself into that mindset, do a bunch of research, which I've done on malignant narcissists, and then, be true to the character. So many people email me and say, I can't wait for her to be redeemed. And I'm like, there's no redemption. This is who she is. And it just makes it a lot of fun, to be honest.
That's great. Now, I have one final question for you, Rebecca.
Mm.
Do you have any recommendations on sources that authors who do want to write dark romantic thrillers can initially start with?
Well, I read a bunch of dark romantic thrillers. I would then go forth and read about psychology and psychopathy and, some, yeah, there's so many different sources out there where you can find information. And then look around your own life. If you have to guess who's a narcissist and why are you guessing that, and throw it in your book.
Now, do you have any authors besides your own, obviously, we'll recommend to our authors, that you look for inspiration in?
I do. Lexi Blake has always been a favorite. J.R. Ward, same. And recently I've discovered J.T. Geisinger, who is amazing. I think I've read all her books at this point. So yeah, highly recommend those three.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on writing dark romantic thrillers.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with New York Times best-selling author Rebecca Zanetti. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.